punctuality is important in Sweden.
Yeah.
So this is the first lesson.
Hello, officially Stig and Kleni, you are welcome, and thanks for your time to give some important, to give answers of some important questions of our students. So we will not go with the very much deep introduction with the things, but as I think all of you already knew it, that Stig work with the admission office and Kleni deal with the international students, and might be if you have questions about the housings, might be Stig is not able to answer exactly, and Kleni will help us with those things. So we just start with how is the coronavirus, the very hot topic nowadays in Halmstad, how it has affected the life of Halmstad?
I mean, like everywhere in the world, I mean, it affects us a lot in some sense, because I mean, we work from home, and at the current students, they study from home, but I mean, you might have heard that Sweden has dealt with the coronavirus a little bit different than many countries of the world. So we have, even though we work from home, the society has remained rather open, and there are restrictions on large gatherings of people, like events like sporting events, music events. They are not allowed. There is I think a ban of gatherings more than 50 people. But so restaurants are open, and shops are open, but the government has, in a very typical Swedish way, said that you should be socially responsible and practice social distancing. So avoid any unnecessary contact. And we are, and we have done that. The Swedish people, we usually do as the government and the specialists tell us to do. So in one way, we are very much affected like everyone else, but in other way, we are far less affected than other countries. So yeah. But still, it's a very serious thing. But yeah, movements for the general population is really not restricted. So if I want to go out, I go
last
out.
week I was in IKEA in Almholt, and we didn't even get place in a restaurant. It is fully booked, and I was talking earlier with the students that it's not a panic situation like in many countries, even in Pakistan. They have just locked down everything, and you are forced to stay home. It's not that panic here in Sweden.
Not at all. I mean, of course, in the beginning of the pandemic, of course, we were all. I mean, we are still worried, but yeah, but life goes on rather. Yes, like before, with a big difference. I work from home instead of from my office.
But else than universities, the offices are also open.
Yeah, I mean, if I talk about the university, I mean, the offices and the staff are there, but since we have the possibility and the ability to work from home, then we chose to do this. But if you,
of course, the classrooms and other things are closed, but if students would like to use the computers or anything, then they can use their access card just to use the facility.
And I mean, shops are open like before. I mean, construction, manufacturing goes on like before. Some big companies, they closed for 1 or 2 weeks, but they are up and running again.
And we have a very widespread question is that has Halmstad University any plan to go online for autumn 2020 for September?
I mean, the plan is that every program should start on campus like we have planned originally. But for the majority of the master programs, there will also be an online option. So those who cannot come for the startup of the program could join the online for maybe the first study period, let's say the first 10 weeks, and then join the program later on. So we plan and hope that everyone will be here at the end of August, like they always have been.
If the borders are open and everything goes right, then they're welcome. But if in any case, if they cannot travel, then like Stig said, the first 2 courses will be online.
But I mean, as it is today, the online is an option for those who decide to come a little bit later.
So just let me make things clear to me so I can explain them later. That if, for example, if a student don't get, the first thing is they can apply for a residence permit because the classes are online. And there is a hybrid kind of solution. If a student is unable to join the classes on 31st of August, he can start classes online. And later, as he got the residence permit and borders get open, they can join later than August, maybe in September or in October, somewhere in the middle of semester.
Yeah, that's our plan. I mean, so if while you are waiting for the residence permit, you go the online courses and then join later on.
Actually, I like this idea. I think it is the idea we should apply every year, even the things are normal, because every year many students got visa refusal because of the classes are started.
Yeah,
they have no choice or chance to, even they are a serious student, they have no chance to join the classes, and the simply got rejected that the classes are started.
The only what concerns us a little bit now is, I mean, we know that everyone wants the campus education. No one would prefer to do the online unless they are forced to. But the thing is, I mean, you need to apply for the visa now. And then you apply for a visa as if you were to come here in August 31. But then if you maybe July or even beginning of August realizes I cannot have my residence permit on time, I will have to do the online course and then join. We haven't got clear information from the migration agency. What happens with the application you already have, where you wrote August 31 as the starting date? If you then change it to maybe, I don't know, October 15, how will they react on your initial residence permit application? Mm-hmm. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes. And for example, if they came to know in the middle of August, for example, on 15th of August, they came to know that they will not get a residence permit. And will they be eligible to apply for, if they change their mind that, oh no, we will go to the next session. So is there a possibility that they can defer their admission to the next year?
Not really. We have, the Swedish universities has said we cannot defer to the next year due to the COVID situation, because it will not be possible to manage it, because then we have maybe a whole class deferring to the next year. So you either have to, I mean, if you cannot come this year, and if you don't want to and if you don't want to start with the online, then you have to drop out, and then we will refund the money, all of it.
So if a student don't want to, he has no option for the defer and he want to apply refund, will he get all the tuition fee, or there is administrative charges of 5,000 kroner? Will there
no admin charges this year. So this is a special year. So we will, but you will have to decide. At the moment, we wrote June 15 on our webpage. You have to decide before then, but we will change that one. But before the start of the program, you have to say, I'm not coming. You cannot wait until after the registration.
I think it is a very favorable option for the students, that if they apply for the visa and they have rather fair time to decide until the like might be middle of August, the last date to decide?
At least the end of July. So there are lots. So what the very important thing is, if you pay the tuition fee now and later change your mind, you will have the money back for, I mean, for any reason. I mean, yeah.
Either you got a refusal or you change your mind, you will not, because many students are afraid of this, that they, if they will apply for refund, the administrative charges will be deducted. So it's a good news for the students.
Yeah.
That,
well, okay. There is just one thing. If you apply for the residence permit and it's processed in time and it's rejected because, let's say, you didn't have the necessary funds or whatever, then there will be an admin charge, because then you were processed according to the regulations.
The decision of the residence permit do affect the admission, the charges.
So, okay.
But if you decide to, while you are waiting for the permit decision, if you, before you have the decision, okay, I will drop out, then you will have all of the money, and then we will tell the migration agency terminate the permit application.
Yeah, it is fair enough, because if your decision has already made and it is rejected, it means you haven't provided them all the right things. So it is not a corona situation problem or the university fault. So it is something which is not provided correctly by the student.
But then there might, I don't know, I mean, just speculate, because if there might be a corona related decision, maybe, we don't know, maybe they say some region of the world you cannot come because of health reasons, then I assume you will get all of the money back. But if it's like lack of funding, not the, you don't what should I say? If you don't
meet the requirements to come to Sweden, and that's the reason that your residence permit is affected, then in that case, the administrative charges will be.
But I guess in most cases, people will drop out because some reasons. They don't want to travel, it's too worrying or something, I don't know. Then you will have, in most cases, all students will have all of the money back. But the thing is, we know that students, they wait, that they want answers before they pay their tuition fee. But it's, I mean, there is really no use to wait because we will not have more answers in next week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, because we don't know what the situation will be in Sweden in August, and for sure we don't know what the situation will be in Pakistan in August. So if you really want to come to Halmstad in this coming semester, you have to pay the tuition fee, you have to apply for the residence permit, and then if you're not sure, then you just tell us and drop out before, I mean, we will put a deadline, let's say August the 1st. So you have a couple of months, I mean, like rest of May and June and July to really think what you want to do. But
it is long enough to think.
Yeah.
And what is there any last date to be registered for online classes?
No, I mean, no, but I guess, I mean, the program will start August 31, and some programs have, I guess it would be the same for those who study on campus. I mean, if you want to go for the online course, you really have to start it. I mean, you can't wait too long with
if it is an online course, then probably the week before you start the course will be the registration time, because it doesn't make any sense waiting for 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
No.
Online course.
So we will contact everyone about when we know more how to set up the online courses, but it will be sometime in August. But hopefully,
we have one question. I already know that its answer is yes. If a student has a bad performance in interview, and got a refusal, so will university deduct that 5,000 administrative charges?
Yes, because then you have been processed according to the regulations like previous year. So that hasn't changed.
But
And
that because it's not a COVID situation, it's regular, like
Yeah.
previous year. So it's different from the COVID situation. So of course, the administrative charges will be charged.
And what about the housing? Might be this year there is a good chance for every student to get housing, or the same situation like last year?
We have new accommodations, but our student union will definitely contact every student. You will receive emails probably next month. And we also have a webinar coming soon on housing accommodation, so students can know more about it.
But we've heard from the student union who's in charge of this that the situation looks better this year compared to last year, because last year we lost a big housing complex very late and we
And
couldn't replace it. But now we have
now we have a new contract with another housing agent, so we
yeah.
probably can manage.
And maybe it's fair to believe that maybe we have all of Sweden will have a little bit less students this year because of Corona. So it will definitely be, or no, but it will most likely be a better situation this year.
And there is one question that if the embassy in Pakistan didn't open for the biometrics and issuing the visa, and the last date of the registrations arrived, so what will be the refund policy in that case? For example, it is the end of August and the students are still waiting for the decision.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, they haven't got the decision. So then they can just cancel it, terminate it, because they are waiting for the decision, or waiting to leave the biometrics, or waiting to do the interview. So in that case, there would be no admin charge, 100% refund. But I mean, as Junaid, maybe you know, the Swedish embassy in Islamabad, it's still closed, I believe.
Yeah, they are still closed.
Yeah. So, but I mean, you can't wait for them to open. They will open whenever they open, because if you wait too long with the application for the residence permits, then you have another problem. It is the line of people waiting for an interview will be too long. So
yeah, this is what I have already explained all the students, that there are two things. The embassy has the only role of taking the biometrics and a small interview. So if you keep waiting for let the embassy open, if embassy get open in middle of July, even then they can manage the biometrics. But at that time you will be maybe too low in the queue that you will not get your decision maybe until the classes start. So the best thing to apply in time.
One important thing is, because I mean, when you apply for the residence permit, you do it online, and the Swedish migration agency here in Sweden, they do the initial processing, and they are full capacity, so their work will not be affected. And I know some students from Pakistan, they already got their residence permit without an interview. So I mean, it's only when you are called for an interview that we have a little bit of a problem. Well, it will not work as long as they are closed. But so, but maybe you're not asked for an interview, and then you will have the residence permit. And
in other case, maybe the students have to give the biometrics. So that for that they have to visit the embassy.
Yeah, but yeah.
So
but in that case, they already knew they have a decision, so they can wait for a couple of weeks.
So they can actually register for the online courses in that case.
Yeah, in that case, they have this option that they can register online, and when the embassy open, even in September or October, just go for the biometrics.
So I mean, we heard that the lockdown in India was extended to, was it
17th or 18th of May?
Yeah, and what's the situation in Pakistan?
There's a big lockdown. In Pakistan, it's a big lockdown, and maybe someone in Pakistan can explain better. But as far I have heard, they have started opening some hours of some industries. But what is the current situation? I think we have Azim Bhai, if you can like elaborate what is the situation there, or someone from Pakistan can explain what is the situation right there is, and what you see that either the embassy will get open, or what the government is taking measures. What information I have is it is all from newspapers.
Yeah, thank you very much, Junaid. Actually, lockdown for embassy is extended until 31st of May. I have just checked it. The government, federal government extended lockdown in Islamabad till 31st of May. After that, maybe we will get some good news that Swedish embassy and other embassies are going to open.
Okay.
But right now, it is extended till 31st of May.
Okay. Thank you.
Actually, if they open on 31st of May,
no
they
clear
have
policy.
plenty of time. June, July, August for biometrics. 3 months are rather a big time.
Junaid, actually, there is no
then
clear policy of the government of Pakistan herein, because very complex situations regarding lockdown, because the province are set the standard and SOPs regarding lockdown, but differently as far as the federal government is set standard and SOPs for different. So still anybody is no clear about the policy here in Pakistan about the Jerry's FedEx or biometrics and the embassies. So I think till 31st, after 31st of May, we will be able to clear about the situation here in Pakistan, about the embassies, and as well as about the Jerry's FedEx.
But if I just may say something, when I'm discussing this, I mean, this is a concern to all Swedish universities, or all universities in the world. But since there are so many unknown factors that we cannot really predict what will they open 31st or not. So the Swedish universities, my colleagues would say, all we can do is to just go on as normal. I mean, because we cannot wait for some other government to make a decision in 2 weeks' time or 3 weeks' time, because we don't know what that will be. So we strongly suggest that you just go ahead like you would have done last year, and then use our very generous refund policy for this year. If you decide to drop out, just let us know, and then you will have the money back. But just wait to hoping to have some clear answers in 2 or 3 weeks. I don't think we will get it, unfortunately.
So the situation will remain, the facts and figures will remain same as we have right now. So the refund policy is really favorable for the students. And we have seen some problem of last year, the refund in refunds, that if a student pay tuition fee through Western Union or MoneyGram, so is there any policy that they will not get refund? Because I know the Linus University not refund if you pay tuition fee through Western Union, they will not make a refund.
That's a very strange policy, but that's their policy. But yeah, we will refund it. But we will, according to the Swedish monetary law, we must refund to the same account that we got the money from. Yeah. So if you use Western Union, then we will refund through the same channel.
Okay, so the student have to make this sure that they have access to that account to get that money back.
Yeah, because sometimes they use friends abroad somewhere in the UK or Germany. Then the money will return to the same account. So that's very important to be aware of that.
So student have to, it is better to pay from some of your friends' account instead of MoneyGram. So at least you have an access.
Yeah, I mean, someone you trust, really trust with this kind of money. Yeah, because there is this law about money laundering, so it has to be returned to the same accounts. But that's the same as it was. We have had the same policy all years.
Yeah, but there is nothing changed.
No.
And also we have the refund application.
Yes, we have been. I admit we have been way too slow in these previous years. It has taken too long. Now we have a more streamlined procedure where we, as soon as either when the student asks for a refund, or when we have a negative decision from the migration agency, we will immediately initiate the process where the student has to fill in some bank details online, and once we have that, we can much more quicker than previous years refund the money. I mean, hopefully we can do it within in a week or two, not 2 months like before. It
So
has
if
been
they
very
get their decision in 1 week, so to transfer it to Pakistan, it will take 2 more weeks. So it is within month they will get back.
I mean, it sort of depends how many do we have at one time, and if it's I mean, much faster than previous years. So
Okay. So, Kalyani, can you please share us the link of if the student want to apply housing, and is there any possibility for family housing? Because we know a couple of families want to apply, they have 1 or 2 kids with them.
Now, we are sorry that we still do not provide any family housing yet. The link to the housing will be sent by email. We have different accommodations now. So it's, but the information about the accommodation, I can send it now in the chat box, so you can share it.
the list of admitted students was shared to the student union. I think it was last week. So I do believe the information will be coming rather soon.
Yeah, maybe in a week or two.
And
But
the student who are already on a waiting list, they are qualified, but they are waiting. What is the possibility that they will get admitted, and if there is some time frame?
I mean, it's very, very hard to say because, as you know, we have been forced to extend the deadline due to the lockdowns, the last day for payment. And it's really hard to, because right now all programs are, well, the majority of the programs are full, and we cannot really admit more people until we have cancellation. And unfortunately, not that many willingly cancel their admission, even though they know I am not coming. So we don't know until the deadline has passed, and then we can, make a either pay or we cancel. So, and now the deadline has been extended to June the 1st. So I don't really see that we can, maybe one or a few on some programs, but it's tough for those on the waiting lists. Right
Because
now.
I know a couple of students who are on waiting list, they also got the invoices, and they are asking us that should we pay now? And it was like, oh,
I'm not sure. They should not have any invoices if they are not admitted.
If they are on a waiting list, then they have to still wait.
So it means they are admitted in some of the program, might be then.
Yeah, some people are admitted for a 1-year program and then waiting list for the 2-year programs. That's very common, but the invoice should not be for the program they are on the waiting list. So unfortunately, I don't have any good answer on your question there, other than they have to wait a bit more.
And I have some suggestions for accommodations. If the students are planning to bring their families, please don't do that. First, you as a student come to Sweden, come to Halmstad, then find an accommodation and then bring your families, because it is really difficult to find an accommodation for a whole family on the first day. It's not that easy. So what I suggest is just as a student, come first and then bring your families later on after a couple of months. That's the best suggestion.
Mm.
So at least meanwhile you have like all the shocks you have to absorb in start the cultural and finding housing, because in what I have learned from last years that people think that it is same like Pakistan and you can use your connections to find housing very fast. It's not like that. No, it's not like that.
Now, housing in Sweden is very much regulated. So, I mean, there are no cheap hostels. I mean, there are top of the line hotels that are very expensive. So, don't come here until if you haven't have your proper accommodation fixed, because we don't see it that often, but we see it sometimes where families arrive without any proper accommodation, and it's very, very stressful for everyone. And
and even for us, we cannot arrange an accommodation immediately because we don't have accommodations in hand to offer them something. It is not that we don't want to do, but we don't have an option to provide this kind of service to them. So we sincerely request all the students who have families just to come alone first, and then ask the students to come after their families, bring their families after a couple of months.
Yeah, and then I mean, what we usually say to students from that's coming with families are check Facebook. I mean, there are dedicated groups for these on Facebook where you can, and there are a large group of Pakistanis living in Sweden in every city. Even in Halmstad, there are a Pakistani community, and students that have been here for a year or two, even more. They have their own housing where they have a big house and they share together. So I think that's the best solution. But beware of scammers. Make sure you must be sure if you arrange for accommodation outside what student union offers.
Keep updated with our Facebook group. So because we have our alumni students and students who are already here, sometimes they offer accommodations. So that could be an opportunity. So just keep checking the Facebook group.
But we have scammers trying to use our group. So be very cautious. If there is no address or anything,
don't pay before you arrive here.
No. Ask for references. Check Google Maps and everything, and we try to remove them. So yeah.
Yeah, and there are a lot of Pakistanis in Halmstad. So you can ask any of reference for them and ask them first that, is it a real housing or they are just trying to use this housing crisis.
Mm-hmm. And you can also find most of the students from our Facebook group.
Mm. And also, if you're looking for family, don't just look in Halmstad. Check the map and the neighboring cities. I mean, there are trains running north and south every hour or every half an hour, and I mean, like a city like Gothenburg, it's actually only 1 hour from Halmstad by train. I mean, that's nothing. That's what you spend in traffic every day anyway back home. So, but the smaller cities nearby, they also have accommodation. But of course, start with Halmstad. But if you don't find it, broaden the search a little bit.
Yeah, because in big cities, almost everyone has some connections.
Yeah.
So is it possible if a student live in Halmstad, in Gothenburg, and he can come with train? Is it a good connectivity?
Yeah, there are students who do that.
Yeah, and in Sweden, you don't have classes usually you don't have classes Monday to Friday. It's I mean, you know the schedules better than I Kellyanne.
Yeah, 3 days of maximum 2, 3, 4 days a week. Now, not
Yes.
4 days.
Yeah.
Most of the work is done from home. Though you have a group work or anything, you doesn't have to actually present in a classroom. You can do it online with your friends, and you can work on the papers. So it's not usually every single day that all the students have lectures and classes. Maybe once a week, twice a week, and the rest of the week is for the student to work from home.
Even it is not the right time, but some of students have asked for the scholarships that if 100% scholarships are available. So I will just make some changes in this question. That is there any second semester scholarship if a student came there and passed a couple of courses or some certain requirement? Is there any scholarship for second semester or second year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, there are. Every spring semester, we use leftover funds to distribute a scholarship. So this year we had maybe 20, 25 students who got one-off scholarship for the spring semester. So what we do then, we look at those who started the autumn semester without a scholarship, those who paid the full fee for the first semester. Then we ask them to apply for the second semester scholarship. And then we looked at their performance during the first semester. So if you don't have a scholarship now, you have a chance to get one for the second semester.
And that scholarship will be for the one semester or?
One semester.
Yes, it's for one semester, yeah.
Okay, so, and some of the students ask the question that, is there any possibility that if a student came for a 2-year degree and want to change it to 1-year degree program?
Not all programs have this kind of possibility. There are a couple of programs like industrial management and strategic entrepreneurship that they can choose to do the program for 1 year. But not all the programs. Only 2 of these programs have the opportunity.
Yeah, and yeah.
And the student, when they arrive here in Halmstad, and during their first semester, we send out the emails to decide if they want to do it 1 year or 2 years. It would be probably before November that they have to decide and send us an email about it.
But this is only possible for three programs.
Yeah.
Marketing, strategic leadership, and industrial management. If you want to change from, I just make up an example. If you're admitted to the 2-year master program in IT, and if you want to change for the, let's say, 1-year master program in electronic design, you can do that if there are seats available on the electronic design.
Yeah.
So it depends on the on the available seats and the program, if there is a possibility in that program.
Yeah. But I mean, if you have, it's rather difficult to speak in general terms. So if some of you are thinking about this, better send us an email. Maybe Kellyanne, you can write the email in the chat. Send us an email. Say, I'm admitted to this program and I want to change for this one.
Yeah.
Then we can reply what applies for you.
Yeah, so it means it will depend on the case to case. So it's depend
yes,
on the student to student.
yeah.
It's not a generic formula that everyone can switch.
No. We try. Yeah.
There is one more question that if a student study one semester in any other university or in Halmstad, and is it possible that if you want to change its credit from any other university to Halmstad or from Halmstad to any other university?
I mean, to transfer between the universities in Sweden, it's rather common among the Swedish students. And the same goes for the international students. I mean, if you start the marketing program in Halmstad and then want to change for, I don't know, the marketing program at Linnaeus in Växjö, it is possible if the the receiving university, if they decide, yes, there are seats available for the second semester, and yes, the student coming from Halmstad, he has done the same sort of courses he would have done here. So it is quite common. We have many Swedes switching universities. But again, it depends on if there are seats available and you have the courses with you as you would have if you started from the beginning.
So it's basically depend on the not the host university which will gonna take you.
Yeah. So
they match with the courses you have already studied, then it's completely fine for all.
Yeah. I mean, I cannot say that you as a Halmstad student can switch for the second semester. You have to ask the place where you're going. So if you want to switch from Halmstad to Lund, you have to ask Lund, can I come to Lund for the second semester?
Okay. Yeah, there is one question. I already know the answer, but I just want you to ask this as well, that if a student pay a tuition fee from someone else's account, their spouse account or parents account, is that okay to send that tuition fee from any other's account, or it must be sent through the student's account?
No, it's okay, but the main point is the student has to write the invoice number. That is very important.
Otherwise, we will not recognize who's it for.
Yes. So it doesn't matter if we receive the tuition fee from parents' account or spouse or whoever it is, but we need the invoice number. It is very important.
I mean, or from Sweden, I mean, anywhere. It really doesn't matter. But again, the important thing, in the case of a refund, it will be sent back to the same account where it came from.
And is there any possibility to admit it? It's a question here. Is there any possibility to get admitted in PhD directly from Pakistan?
There are chances, but then PhD is not like an education compared to other countries. In other countries, PhD is related to some kind of an education, but here in Sweden, it is treated as job. So if any student is interested in PhD, we have the available positions in our website. It's not a curriculum. It's completely different. It's like a job position. So we put an ad on our website and the students have to apply through it. Because a PhD is, you need funding, you need company funding or any other organizations that have to fund your research.
There is one question. I will answer that question and then I will add on something for a question for you. A question is that because from Pakistan, if you pay the tuition fee, we don't have a direct conversion from Pak rupees to Swedish kroner. So when you are going to pay the tuition fee, you just make a close assessment in euros or in dollars and then pay it. And now my question is that if there is some difference between that, because the conversion rate always changes very fast, and sometimes there is for example, a student have a tuition fee of 72,000 kroner, but when it came to the Halmstad University, it is 71,400 Swedish kroner. What will happen in that case?
That's okay. I mean, if it's 100, 200 euros difference in either way, I mean, we're fine with it. I mean, if you pay too much, we will clear that for the second semester invoice. If you pay, I don't know, if it's 1,000 euros too little, I mean, then we will ask, you have to add this money. We will not just cancel the admission or anything. So don't worry if there is a small difference. It's fine. There is. I cannot say that there is where the limit is, but it's hard to exactly predict the exchange rate. But I mean, there are tons of currency converters online. So just make sure whenever you are in the situation of paying, check online. How much is this in my local currency? Maybe check one or two to make sure they have the same amount. but a small difference is fine.
Yeah, and the conversion difference is always in couple of hundreds. It's never been in like 5,000 kroners in
No,
conversion
no.
difference. So it is quite easily visible with your payment that is it a conversion difference or it was a less payment made. And there is one question that is it compulsory to have fingerprints in Swedish? My embassy, some of the students, they have visited some of the Schengen countries and have given fingerprints there. So will that work, or they have
No.
to have the fingerprints in
Every time a person applies for residence permit, they have to give the biometrics.
So it will not gonna work if you have already.
If you have already, no.
Mhm.
Every time, if I am applying my residence permit, maybe today, then I have to give my biometrics. And after 1 year, I'm extending or I'm applying again, then still I have to give my biometrics unless and until if your residence permit is valid during that period. If you understand.
So it means if you have given biometrics for any other country, even a couple of months ago, that's not going to help you. So you have to, hopefully, when embassy will open, you have to go there and give the new biometrics for Swedish system, which they have for issuing the residence card.
Yeah.
But I think we have discussed the most critical questions which we are facing every day from the students. If anyone have any question, you can ask, or after the session you can send us by email, or almost everyone has my WhatsApp. You can ask me the questions and I will try my best to give you the answers, or if I will not have the answer, I will ask Steg, or I will ask Yanni to answer that question. And thank you very much, Steg and Glenny, for your time and answering the questions.
Sir, sir, can I ask a last question, sir?
Yes, sure.
Yes, sir. If for example, if embassy is not open till 1st August or mid of August, can we go for fingerprints and interview to Swedish embassy in Dubai?
If you can give your biometrics, but then you have to take appointment at the embassy of Sweden in Dubai, and your travel restrictions, if they are valid, if you can travel to Dubai and give your biometrics, but you have to contact the embassy in Sweden to take an appointment.
Yeah, basically what I think is when you apply a student visa, there is an option you ask that where you get the decision. And I think that embassy should allow you to go somewhere else. You can't just book an appointment and go anywhere, like in Dubai that I want to give my biometrics.
So, hello?
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining the session, and thank you again, Steg and Glenny, for your time. Hope to see you. And hope to see you guys in Sweden, hopefully in August, otherwise in September.
Yeah, and we will meet in Pakistan.
Yeah, otherwise
we have to go there again. In a while now.
Yeah, in a while. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.